We opened in November actually, and then as soon as we opened, COVID came. So between that time of lockdown, we actually had to close, and being new to the market, I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Hi neighbors, welcome to Stories Next Door. I'm JC Joyce, your host. So throughout this journey of life, I have met incredible people. And my guest today is an amazing young lady. She's originally from Kenya, but lives in London. She is the head chef and founder of Kenyan Kitchen in London. You heard that right. There is a Kenyan Kitchen in London, authentic Kenyan food, from your chomas to your kachumbaris, sukuma, everything. You actually get it at her restaurant. So today I am joined with Margret Smalls. Karibu dada.
Hi, Jace.
She will share how it all started, how it's going, and what the vision for Kenyan Kitchen is. She's also East African. I said she's from Kenya. I don't see your Kenyan bracelet though.
It's in the heart.
It is definitely
No, but in
there.
kitchen we actually take them. Well, we try not to have, too many things going
Yes.
on. So, but I wear it.
You look
I
nice.
do have it. Thank you. So dear.
As always.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
So, Margret,
Yes.
first of all, I want you to share a bit of your personal journey. What inspired Kenyan Kitchen?
Whew. So Kenya Kitchen, I would say cooking has always been in my heart since I was a young kid. I was brought up by my grandmothers back home. I was born in Kenya, and I was raised up by my grandmas. And you know how it is when you're raised up by, your grandparents.
Of course.
Cooking is the one that unites people.
Yes.
Unites everyone. And cooking was a form of us to connect. So I used to cook with my grandma. And when I moved here, I discovered that Kenyan food was missing. I would have to go home to actually get that taste of home.
Yes.
So over time, I thought, if I'm missing Kenyan food, other people are also missing Kenyan food. And, I thought it'd be nice to bring the Kenyan flavors to London.
And there is a really big Kenyan community. I mingle with a lot of Kenyans.
Yeah.
There is a really big community of Kenyans. And I remember before Kenyan Kitchen, I think there was probably like one place that sold East African food. And like everyone would just go there. This was like probably like 10 years ago, probably. Everyone would go there, but now that, you've opened your restaurant, just tell me, were there any challenges when you started it?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So just like you, when I moved here, again, only one Kenyan, sort of one place that gave us that taste existed, but the journey comes in. So coming back to your question, did I have challenges? Yes, we had a lot of challenges. So we opened in 2019.
Oh, during COVID?
During COVID. Okay. We opened in November, actually. And then as soon as we opened, COVID came. So between that time of lockdown, we actually had to close. And being new to the market, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I hadn't worked in a commercial kitchen before. I didn't have any experience. I was relying on one person that was introduced to me who had more experience in working in the hospitality industry. So he's the one who came in and helped me put everything together. But of course, in between that, being close, just after opening, I wasn't sure what was going to happen after that. So I would say that was the biggest hit for me.
So you opened your restaurant during COVID or just before COVID?
Just before COVID. So November 2019 and then 2020. So December, remember December time.
So lockdown. So
yeah.
you opened, then lockdown. No one was coming into the restaurant. So did you have to get on like Uber Eats, Deliveroo?
So I mean, because I don't know if you recall, like when COVID came, all businesses had to close down.
Yes.
Everyone had to be indoors, and of course, when we opened, we had already registered with delivery partners.
Yeah.
So that existed. However, we couldn't operate those 2 weeks of lockdowns. We had to obviously, close the business. But then also the challenge was because we were still new to the market. Not many people knew about Kenyan food, and even I was the main chef.
Yes.
I had a team that obviously was sort of inexperienced, and one that was very, highly experienced, and including myself, I wasn't experienced. So it was just a matter of learning in between. But then, of course, the challenges of trying to, get customers to come in and get, like, for example, takeaways. If people know about the product, they'll be able to come and buy it. But because they didn't know, we couldn't really, it was difficult getting customers in. So actually, what I didn't tell you is that before I opened Kenya Kitchen, I used to sell food for my own kitchen. So that's how I started. I finished uni. I was doing teaching.
Yeah.
And in between, because I've always had the passion for food, so I used, like some people that would come to my birthdays or like family gatherings, and they tried my food. They would order food from me. So I was teaching part-time and then working from home part-time. And then there were times when I would like do catering, like outside catering.
Yeah.
So the people, like COVID time, so the ones that I had already, like the clientele that I had already built, I sort of send them the menus. So they would pre-order in advance.
Wow, that's clever.
Yeah. I'll go to the kitchen and just prepare the food when it's ready. I'll drop it off to them, or they'll come and pick it up. Just, of course, was, keeping distance. So you have to arrange the slot, or you have to, find a way to get the food to them. So that's what I did.
So your food is authentic Kenyan food. So the flavors are in there.
Exactly.
So where do you get the spices? Do you source them from Kenya, or do you buy them here? How does that go about? How's the logistics of that?
So as you say, the food is authentic, and of course we have to deliver authentic as well. And when it comes to this ingredients, spices, like ingredients are locally sourced, seasonings are from home. Like I only bring the best home flavors. So I get the seasonings from home. I have few people from home that will get them to me, or we do have people that will bring the seasonings to us. Or sometimes when I go home, I come with it. And I think, again, when it comes to actually trying to get that authenticity, like, for example, the meat, we have to find the best in the market, and something like goat, which is not highly found in the UK. So we've had to identify like specific supplier that only deals with goat meat, and just finding those kind of things. Sometimes either they have it or they don't have it, so it's been up and down, but flavor wise is authentic, and seasonings.
So the English palate is different
yes,
from the East African palate.
Yes.
So did you have to adjust a bit with the flavors?
Yes, we've had to. And what I like about our cooking, or rather just being here in the UK, is the fact that we're open to like rich culture, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's very diverse.
Very diverse. And like even in Kenya, we have we are influenced by the Indian community.
Yes.
So being able to unite those flavors, like, so I would say our food, even though it's authentic Kenyan food, it's got a fusion of like Indian flavors, and we sort of cook to cater the mass market, not just the Kenyan community or East African community, but our flavors are like, we've had customers that will come in from Nigeria, from Zimbabwe, and they can relate to our dishes.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting. And I'd say it's fusion. We've been able to kind of like
fuse it a bit.
Yeah.
So so it's not too. But East African food is not too spicy, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. So I think like East African food in general is not spicy at all.
Yeah.
And hence why even at Kenya Kitchen, what we usually do, we give our customers an opportunity to create their own, like how spicy you want your food. So you get to choose, example, the nyama choma, you get to select your flavor. You tell us how, mild, medium, spicy, extra hot. So, and then you'll be surprised a lot of the customers. So, the English, especially, the English customers, or like the ones, people who are not from Africa, when they come in, they actually want spicy food because they're looking for something that is different. And then for us, we would think like, oh, actually, I thought you're looking for something more subtle. Yeah.
So when I think about food,
yes,
Tanzanian food, I might say, because that's where I'm from.
Yes.
Food brings people together.
Yes.
It's about community, right? It's things that have been passed down from like generations to generations. You also said you learned how to cook from your grandmother, right?
I did, yes.
So, for instance, the nyama chomas, right? You wouldn't go to a wedding and not get nyama choma. Like, it has to be.
It won't be a wedding without nyama choma. It won't.
So would you say that with Kenyan Kitchen, it has slightly influenced the Kenyan culture within the community?
It has. And I think now, even having Kenya Kitchen, like I have seen people, for example, relatives actually meet at Kenya Kitchen who haven't, seen each other for a very long time. I have influenced a brother meet his brother. It's like, it was, a moment of joy. They're like, actually, I haven't seen
brought them
ages.
together.
So yeah, to me, and that's what I love about what I do. And as I said, food growing up is what united us, like as kids, with my grandma, and even now, like food is a way of sharing love. It brings people together, and just see people come together like that. It's amazing. So yeah, it does unite people, bring them close.
Nah, definitely. So talking about community, we have a question from one of our neighbors.
Yes.
And our neighbor writes, "Hi, Margret.
Hi.
I'm a 31-year-old Kenyan man living in London for about a year now.
Yes.
I've visited Kenyan Kitchen at least 3 times, and the food is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Especially the nyama choma. Okay, hands down, the best. My question to you is, how do you balance staying true to the Kenyan culture and the recipes while catering to a diverse audience in London?"
Right. Very good question. So, as a Kenyan myself, I was born in Kenya, grew like partly brought up in Kenya. And as I said, my cooking was mostly influenced by my grandma. And being in Kenya, like Kenya is such a big country. We're blessed to have so many tribes, and each tribe has its own specific dish. So again, that's what makes Kenyan food. So being able to have had those flavors as a child, and coming here is what I want to continue to have. So I know my authenticity for my grandma, and when grandmas cook, they're not going to take shortcuts.
No, they're not.
So like, I'll give you an example, right? So when we started, when we first opened the restaurant, my vision, like as a kid growing up cooking with my grandma, was like, okay, jiko, firewood, soak the maize, soak the beans, everything cooked from scratch. And that's actually what we still do. For example, if you have githeri, like the maize is like we cook everything from scratch. and it's taking the actual product ingredient and being able to bring it together, marinate it, and put it on the table that actually when people eat it, you still get those flavors, and then you get the feel of home. And the feel of home for me is being able to bring that dish together from scratch, not take shortcuts and buy things that are frozen. I am a big believer of fresh cooking and fresh produce. And our flavors, our spices are the ones that have actually been able to keep that authenticity for our dishes. Because I just don't want to be able to cater to Kenyans or, East Africans. I want the whole world to actually come in and experience Kenyan food.
But I think also with London being diverse, that does help restaurants because people, first of all, it's diverse, but also people want to try new things.
Yes.
Yeah. So when someone hears, oh, there's a Kenyan restaurant, it's like, let's try a Kenyan restaurant. And walking into your restaurant, the ambiance in there, it's like, I'm in Nairobi. So neighbors, if you want to experience that authentic Kenyan feeling, Kenyan kitchen, it's in Edgware. That's your place to be.
Yeah.
You'd thank me later for that. So what's the vision? What's next for Kenyan Kitchen?
The vision is next for Kenyan Kitchen. Ooh, I mean, just like any of us, once you start something, you want to see it big, you want to see it grow. And for me, Kenya Kitchen, I'm just not seeing Kenya Kitchen here. I'm seeing it beyond London.
Good.
And
because we want to see Kenyan Kitchen, Dubai, New York.
And what has been more rewarding for us, and just see that it's been accepted by, the wider market in the UK. But not only that, like recently we had, Raila Odinga visited us, which was just incredible.
Yeah.
So if we're able to serve, such
excellence like that.
Yeah, it can only mean that we're destined for more. So I'm not going to tell you just yet, but yes, there's
more to come.
Yes, there's more to come.
Okay. Now, well, that's a really good thing to hear, because Kenyans are doing great things.
Indeed.
Yeah,
very much so.
In so many different industries.
Yes.
Kenyans are dominating. So when you're saying that there is more, I actually believe that there is actually more coming.
Yes. And, with Jesus, with God, anything is possible.
Amen.
You have to actually have faith, and, just at the same time, you have to believe in what you do. And it's all about having the right team, having the right support system around you. And it's not easy, but you have to show up every single day. And when you show up, results are bound to happen.
Yeah, amen. Of course.
Yeah.
So you spoke about your grandmothers
Yes.
and how they inspired you in making the beautiful creations that you make right now. Where were your parents at this point where you're living with your grandparents?
So actually, I didn't know my mom or my dad, and when I was born, I was first left with my mom's side of the family, and then later on I came to know my dad's side of the family. So I was taken to my dad's side of the family to live with my grandma over there as well. So hence why I said I was brought up by my grandmas. So both my mom's mom and my dad's grandma are the ones who brought me up.
So when did you relocate to the UK?
So I came here when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you came here with your grandparents?
No. So I came to know my mom eventually.
Okay.
And then I was also connected with my dad. I came to know my dad, and because my dad lived here, he's so I don't know how it is in Tanzania, but in Kenya, for example, like where, in my village, for example, I am a village girl.
Yeah, I'm a village girl too, so go village girl.
So when I came to know my dad, at least from my understanding, is that when a girl is born, they belong to the dad side of the family.
It's similar.
Yeah. So when they found out about me, they took me to my dad's side of the family, and he obviously lived here. So he, took me to school back home, and then eventually got the documents to bring me here to live with him. And that's how, the whole thing started. Yeah.
I always say that everything happens for a reason, because you not knowing your parents made you live with your grandparents.
Exactly.
And you learned how to cook. And the idea of Kenyan Kitchen was born at that time. But obviously with the normal brain, that we have, you wouldn't think far of 30, 20 years that one day you own a restaurant in London.
Not
at
entirely.
all. Yeah. So everything just happens for a reason. I want to take you just back to the Bible just a bit.
Yes.
So there's a book called Jeremiah.
Yes.
And God was speaking to Jeremiah saying that I knew you before you were formed in your mother's stomach. So that is ideal to this situation, because God planned your footsteps, before you were even formed in your mother's stomach. Yes, you did not know your mother, but the glory of God brought you to where you are right now.
Yeah.
So that neighbors, if you're watching this, just know that if you're going through a hard time right now, everything happens for a reason, and all your steps are always directed by the Most High.
Amen.
So, how do we follow Kenyan Kitchen? Is there any Instagram, TikTok?
Yes, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So it's all at Kenya Kitchen. So we do have all handles, even Snapchat, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and which delivery partners do you work with?
So we are with Deliveroo and Uber Eats.
And your restaurant is located in Edgware?
In Edgware.
Edgware.
The actual address is 135 Deans Lane, and because most people when we're driving we use the postcode. It's HA8 9NY.
Okay, so guys, you heard that. Okay, go to Kenyan Kitchen, authentic food, authentic culture, traditional community, everything. Margret, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you.
I am sure that you have inspired someone out there. You said you're a village girl, and look at you now. You're a boss girl.
I mean, listen, that's one thing that, once it's your upbringing that shapes you. Yes. And once you've come from there, you can only go up.
Yes, you can. It's always about going up.
Exactly. And that's, if I can help one person, then, that's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah, perfect. Well, neighbors, thank you so much for listening. Remember to share, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms, Stories Next Door Podcast. And if you want to try Margret's creations, then Edgware, Kenyan Kitchen, authentic Kenyan food. You'd thank me later. Margret.
Come for the nyama choma.
The nyama choma.
Disappointed.
Of course.
And then, of course, the service, and you get to see all lovely people speak Swahili. And actually, sorry to cut you. So I realized a lot of people come to the UK and they actually don't have that community.
Yes.
So what we started doing at Kenya Kitchen, we have a group of youths that will come together, and just all the young Kenyans.
Okay, so bringing the community
together, and then you get to have, chill, have drinks, speak Swahili, learn Swahili. So all of that.
And Swahili to the world. I know. So as I said, if you want to learn Swahili, if you want to enjoy authentic Kenyan food, all in the heart of North London, Edgware. Thank you so much, neighbors. Until next time, I'm your host, JC Joyce.